So by this point you should have a 4-bar beat with a good bit of variation throughout it as well. So the same as you would with MIDI, once you've copied your first bar over, just take away some hits, add in some extra hits, and I've left myself with this. So a pretty cool hip hop beat. What we're going to do now is take one of the intro samples, so things with the instruments in, some pitch. We're going to slice it up and put it into the sampler. So I need a new audio track. Let's create that. I'm going to drag on the telepathy intro. And we're going to do this in a slightly different way. I'm not going to use the full thing because that's just going to give me too many samples for easy use in a sampler. I'm going to take out just before the drums come in. So I'll slice that there using my scissors tool. Get rid of that and get rid of that. Now, like I said, we're going to slice it in the similar way, not exactly the same way, using the flex mode. Flex active there, into slicing. I'll show you why we're not going to do it exactly the same way now. If I right click on this and slice at transient markers, it gives me a lot of samples which are really, really short, such as this one. That's just not going to be the most use to me. So what I'm going to do instead, when I go into my flex mode, I get this extra tool to put in what are called flex markers. Don't use the bit at the bottom because that automatically puts in 3 at a time. We don't want that. We don't want Logic to sort of do this bit for us. We want to put it in at the top. Using these grey lines as a guideline, but not using all of them. I will have that short sample. So I'm just going to go through. I'm just going to make sure they're not too short. Going through, clicking in these lines myself. And we'll have that. So now, if I right click and select slice at flex markers, there we go. That's going to be a lot more usable for us. So that's all the samples sliced up. And what I do now is simply highlight them all, right click, go to convert, and convert them to a new sampler track. I'm going to use the regions. I've changed my start note to C1. That's where your drum kit starts. It tries to start at C-2, so I suggest change that to C1. Otherwise you'll have to put your keyboard down the octave to use it, and it just gets a bit fiddly. So, okay. Well, that's done. It's taken that, all them samples, put them on an EXS24 instrument, and now each of these MIDI notes is playing a different part, with each of them corresponding samples. So, don't actually need that MIDI. I now don't need that audio track. Zoom out a bit. Go back to the beginning. And if I open up my EXS instrument, go to edit, you can see that all my samples are in there. So you can start to hear the potential of them. What it's done when we do it that way, it's automatically created them into a group as well. So at this menu here, I want to select my groups and change my poly to 1. Now what that means is I'm only going to be able to play one of these samples at a time, and I want that to be able to, fully use these in a very good way. So you can start to hear that that's going to be useful to us. Let's have a little play along with the drums. the sort of principle of this. Now to take that further, what I might do is select them all and use the coarse tuning to sort of make them sound a bit, a bit chipmunky by pitching them up, or a bit dark by pitching them down. And there we go, that's the principle of this. Now what I want you to do is get to this point, get something sequenced in alongside your beat, so that you're using the beat that you've made from samples of a full beat and a sampler instrument that you've made by chopping up an audio sample and creating a new sampler instrument. Once you've done it with my samples, feel free to use it on different acapellas and different samples. To get these into different sound worlds, if you're going for your techno, it's going to work with acapellas. Acapellas are going to sound good in that world. These sort of Motown intros, like I said, work in the hip-hop world. And then experiment with some other things. See what you can come up with. See what samples are going to lend themselves to the style that you want to work in. And have fun with it. Enjoy.